to the halfway line, and look at Western Sydney as well. Some changes coming, including Jared Carluccio, the Chelsea fan who gets up in the early hours of the morning here in Australia to watch his side play, including this man, Cole Palmer, who had an injury-interrupted season last year, a groin issue. Ended up meaning he missed the English World Cup squad. Esteval as well. He missed out on the World Cup with a hamstring tear. Didn't get the chance to go over to the US, Canada and Mexico with Brazil. Big loss for them. But a big win for Chelsea. You would think that these guys did miss the World Cup because they've had a little bit more time to rest those legs after a big season. So what impact can they have here as they look to fight back? From a 3-2 deficit, never have Chelsea been beaten in Australia by Australian opposition. Well, right now they are 3-2 behind, and some work to do here for some of their big names. What about some of these young Western Sydney Wanderers with an opportunity? I said Carluccio, but also Awan Lual, who is their leading goal scorer for their youth team, who are currently in season at the moment in Australia. And he scored 19 goals, the leading goal scorer in that NPL New South Wales competition. So he is sniffing some goals at the moment, Eric Partaloo, and he'll be excited to take on this Chelsea side.
And the Wanderers side in general. When's the last time we saw the Western Sydney Wanderers score 3 goals, let alone against Chelsea? It's just been that sort of night for them. Really re-energised under Ufuk Talay.
So floated over the top for Jamie Gittins, who's bearing down on goal. Vidakovic with the save, the follow-up from Esteval. He's fluffed his lines for Palmer. Oh, they're looking sharp now, Chelsea. Here's the Australian-born Nicole Trezuli. It's going to be all hands to the pump here for Western Sydney. And Solmino. Nicole Trezuli. 1-2 by Cole Palmer. Western Sydney able to clear it over the sideline. The intensity has just stepped up a notch, as you would expect. Lovely footwork. And there is the equaliser. It did not take long. João Pedro setting up the equaliser. And the introduction of the Stars. And it is 3-3.
It didn't take long to throw a little bit of magic from the bench from Xabi Alonso. This is more like it from Chelsea FC. The movement there from Gittins playing forward, looking for Pedro. And it's the movement just to get forward and a step over. In this sort of position, can you find a teammate? When you get to that moment, a lot of players on the Harvey Norman replay would look to shoot. Not João Pedro. Composed as you like, straight off the bench, ice cold. And so is the finish from Jamie Gittins. We're all square.
Gittins, who made his senior debut with Borussia Dortmund before arriving at Chelsea. And basically what we've seen in the last 5-6 minutes is we've seen a vast majority of the experienced players from Western Sydney leave the field, so they've got a very youthful side out there, and the Stars of Chelsea have arrived. So the match has flipped 180 degrees. Here's Palestra. Palmer lets it run. And now Jai Rose. A really impressive season last year did Jai Rose, getting his opportunity. Those 9 appearances. That's a lovely ball for Milanovic. Milanovic low, Lual there. Leading goal scorer in the youth team. He's earned them a corner kick here, Western Sydney.
End to end, and they go quickly from the short corner as well. It's great movement from Milanovic.
Milanovic drops it onto the head, and Robert Sanchez, he has to get involved here. But now's the problem for Western Sydney as they push forward and they swarm. Well, Estevao's been dynamic since coming into this game. Robert Sanchez, you might remember, Eric Cardelou, he actually took the spot of Matty Ryan at Brighton about 6 years ago. They were duking it out for that #1 position in the Premier League. Sanchez ultimately winning out. Matty Ryan headed away from the Seagulls. So it was not quite to plan there from Levi Colwell, and another corner on the way for Western Sydney. Rhodes. Here's a deflected strike. Oh goodness, that very nearly nestled in the bottom corner there from Emil Katrip.
You just never know. On the edge of the box, deflection, somebody puts a leg out. Very difficult to go direct from the corners for Western Sydney. That's why they're going short. A lot of tall timber in there for Chelsea.
What a moment for one of these youngsters if they can pull off something special here against the really experienced men on this tour for Chelsea. Milanovic does so well, and the strike is not far off from Oscar Morrison. The 19-year-old academy captain just pushing that to the right as Western Sydney threaten to retake the lead.
Well, it's the second time that short corner variation has worked, and Chelsea have not switched on to it. But they're going to be a little bit more composed now. You can just see in that little bit of pressure, Cole Palmer edging his way out of traffic.
There goes Estevaou.
Not much in it, but you can see him just drawing the foul between the two players. It's great to see the Brazilian out there.
Jamie Gittins and Salmino. English international Levi Colwell and Gittins. On the same wavelength there.
A little bit of rust after coming on. No rust in the finish though, and that will please Xabi Alonso. This is what these games are about. It's about reaction, and when the fitness is maybe not there, as a big player at a big club and with a big coaching journey in front of him, you've got to know that your players can come in and change the game. It's not easy when you haven't got your touch or you haven't got your full fitness yet, but you are expected to come in and make a difference. In this game, it hangs in the balance right now for the Wanderers.
Just a reminder as well, this Sydney Super Cup format is that if the match is level at 90 minutes, goes straight to a penalty shootout. Vidakovic. Jai Rose should earn the whistle here and does. Western Sydney, well, they wanted to play advantage. Steve Ugarkovic was keen to keep the momentum rolling. So Milanovic has good trip. Right fullback, I'm told. 25 for Western Sydney. Good engines according to Ufi Tale. Rose. Some bright moments since he's come in to this game. Jai Rose. Pedro. He was late. Leading goal scorer across all competitions last year with 20.
Didn't like that one. Right in the sore spot. And he went right after Garkovic, straight after it. There's Marco Palestra, Serie A Defender of the Year. And we talk a lot about these players for Chelsea being good in the final third, but that's a really good pickup for Chelsea. Marc Cucurella departing to go to Real Madrid. Yes, left-hand side. He's comfortable, Palestra, in playing both sides. Highest average speed in the Serie A.
He came through the ranks at Atalanta, and then last season, Cagliari. Colo to Sanchez. Barry just putting a lot of pressure there on Pedro. Now Palmer. Saves so much time, doesn't he? Able to find the pass. Esteval. Palmer. This little flip over the top. Pedro. Under the watchful eye of Emil Kutrib, teenager, 17-year-old. So if you're loving this, you don't want to miss tomorrow night in the FC versus Tottenham Hotspur from Allianz Stadium. Palmer finding the goal scorer in Gittins. Just to hold the ball up, recycle. Palmer reached that cross in front of Vidakovic.
That combination looks really interesting from a Chelsea point of view. Cole Palmer had that groin injury last season that kept him out for a long time. It wasn't until the second half of the season that he really got going, and 10 goals, 5 of them from the penalty spot, and people said that he had an average campaign. Didn't make that World Cup squad, everybody knows about it, but it's great to see him come out here tonight in that first game and really try and build a relationship with Gittins, another player who needs to have a big season.
Well, it was a start to the 25-26 campaign, which began so well with that golden ball at the Club World Cup for Palmer. Here come Chelsea again. And it was a moment which you expected the net to bulge there from Esteval. In the end, it was a rather tame shot for Vidakovic.
But how good is it watching these players? You know, we see them week in, week out, play at a very, very high level, the highest possibly in the world, and jinking through and slinking through and making it look easy. And yeah, they're not their polished, finished product, but there's some amazing skill on there.
Well, what do they say, Eric? Can you do it on a cool winter's night at a core stadium with jet lag? Well, this has all got a little awkward there. So Sanchez mops up. Oh, that's brilliant from Carluccio. Lays it off. Western Sydney are back in front. And it's the leading goal scorer in the NPL this season. Awan Lual. He does it against Premier League opposition as well. And Wanderers, Wonderland is in dreamland right now.
Well, he could do it on a cold winter's night at a core stadium. Owen Lawal, the next player off the ranks to score against Chelsea FC. They get caught in possession. Carluccio, a self-proclaimed Chelsea fan, decides not to shoot against his club that he supports. He lays it off perfectly, and on the Harvey Norman replay, goal scorers score goals. And that's what this man has been doing for Western Sydney Wanderers. What a game we are witnessing here. It's 4-3 to the Wanderers.
So the superstars entered the pitch for Chelsea. They found the equaliser. Well, the youngsters from Western Sydney have retaken the lead. It's quite stunning. Palmer, Esteval, João Pedro, Levi Colwell, Robert Sanchez on the pitch here for Chelsea. But it's Western Sydney who have found the go-ahead goal. And what I'm so impressed by in that moment, Eric, is Jared Carluccio, the Chelsea nuffy. He's thinking, my name's going up in lights here, I'm about to score, and he lays it off. So unselfish, so impressive from Carluccio in that moment.
I just don't think he wanted to score against Chelsea. No, but great composure. And great composure as well from Owen Lawal. A lot of players would have snatched at that, and you can tell that's something they've been working on in the final third.
Well, Chelsea looking to make it 4-4 here. Gittins made it 3-3. Delivers a cross. João Pedro! Chelsea are back. One of their superstars. This time the Brazilian. A clinical finish. Entertainment plus here at Accor Stadium, and it's 4-4.
This is what the crowd came to see. The top scorer for Chelsea last season in the Premier League. They look for it, and they get the second bite at the cherry, and it's an easy finish for a player of João Pedro's quality. On the Harvey Norman replay, he just strokes it home. Pedro, he drives it in the corner, and we're back on level terms.
Isn't it funny? It's as if they are just toying with Western Sydney. Just let them get in front, and then, hang on a sec, let's put it into the next gear. Find the equaliser. They've done it again. There's 10 minutes to go here. Remember, if we're locked up at the end, it's a penalty shootout. But right now, Chelsea are looking good here for a fifth. Gittins driving, and Western Sydney have done just enough to deny Cole Palmer.
Well, can we be critical? At this point in time, the shot was on. It was facing the goal, and the run was not clear. I think we're going to find a winner. I don't think we're going to go to penalties.
Are you going third place playoff World Cup, Eric? It's going to be 6-4 instead of tennis.
There's one more in this.
Look at that. João Pedro, one shot, one goal. Sanchez just urging some more width from his side. Launches it towards Gittins. How about that first touch? Just cushions it beautifully. João Pedro, Gittins blocked off. João Pedro has another chance. Oh, and Oscar Morrison. I don't know how much he knew about that. It was a rather nervy prod.
Well, you can see Esteval there asking for the extra pass. It's only a matter of time, we feel.
Just about in the short corner. It's Cole Palmer got in those boots! Flashes it away. Would have been a special way to put Chelsea back in front.
What a game.
How good's it been? Well, they haven't been in front since very early on in this match, the opening 10 minutes when they took the lead. Through Sataya, Panterzopoulos equalised in the 14th minute, and since then it's been either level or Western Sydney have been in front. Western Sydney taking a 2-1, 3-2 and a 4-3 lead. Chelsea peeing them back on each occasion.
I think it's fair to say that they've got a lot of work to do, Chelsea. I know this is not the team that will play the first game of the season, but in terms of what Xabi Alonso has asked, from trying to play out from the back and trying to build that relationship through the press and playing around it hasn't worked tonight. And this is great food for thought for him, as you can see him now talking with his assistant coaches. There's a lot to work on, a lot to gain from this fixture, and they haven't got time in this job.
Here's a real opportunity. João Pedro screaming for it in the middle. It may not matter. Here goes Esteval. Side netting. The Blues fans were up here in Accor Stadium. They thought it was 5-4.
Absolutely explosive. Look at him burst forward. But Tristan Vidakovic just gets a toe to it.
Six minutes remaining. You would expect there won't be much stoppage time. There's only one in the first half, usually very little in these kind of matches. Can Chelsea find the winner here? Gittins lays it off. They're all being unselfish. Awan Lual links with Rose, who gets taken down from behind. Oh, Daniel Elmer says no free kick. And Upi Tale is going off on the sideline. Look at him, even in a friendly. He is filthy with that decision. And Chelsea, is this the moment? João Pedro! $5-4 to Chelsea. And the Brazilian superstar, their leading goal scorer last season, on the double.
More fuel to the fire for João Pedro, left out of the Brazilian World Cup squad. Can you believe it? Upi Tale says that's a foul in the middle of the pitch. It doesn't matter. It's that man there, Cole Palmer, pulling the strings. And you thought he'd lost the opportunity. Goal scorers, they want to score the goal that they're ready for. And they want to try and make it as easy as possible. But that looked like a difficult one for João Pedro. But in the end, he's just got too much quality in that right boot. He's got himself a double.
So Pedro makes it 5-4. Ufuk Talay, the Western Sydney coach, he is furious with that decision. On the halfway line, right in front of him. Had a chat to the fourth official as well. To be fair, he probably has every right to be. It looked to be a bit of force in that little battle with Jai Rose. In the end, the referee said it was shoulder to shoulder. Play on. Chelsea take advantage and they take the lead for the first time since the 14th minute. The Western Sydney have something else here. Here's Waraga hanging it up just over the head. The chasing men in red and black. Goes up for the header, helped on by Petrib. Problems here. Sanchez has come a little from goal. Milanovic squares it across the face. We've got a few chances here, Western Sydney, now with Barry. Surely they couldn't make this 5-5. One thing for sure tonight, all the fans are going away thoroughly entertained. What an enthralling match of football to begin the Sydney Super Cup. If you like what you've seen here tonight, grab your tickets for tomorrow night. Sydney FC taking on Tottenham, and then it is Chelsea and Tottenham on Saturday night here at Accor Stadium. You don't want to miss that one. There's not too many tickets left, so you better snap them up quickly. Just about Palestra. Oh, that's neat from the Italian. Earns a corner.
That right-hand side's going to be exciting for Chelsea. Check out the footwork. Dazzling the crowd, playing and moving, and then Palestra says, I'll show you a trick of my own. Have some of that.
Substitution for our Western Sydney Wanderers.
Western Sydney going to make another change here. It's Giorgio Hasarati. He's going to replace Jai Rose. Really impressed Jai Rose in his second half. Looking forward to seeing him again in the A-League this campaign. Hasarati gets a couple of minutes to run around here at Accor Stadium. Is there a six for Chelsea? Free header at the back post, and it's a scramble. And I reckon João Pedro has forced it over the line for a hat-trick. 6-4 to the Blues.
Well, you did get your scoreline from the third place in the World Cup. But this man wasn't at the World Cup. Maybe you should have been. The delivery, the runs, nobody picking up for the Wanderers. It should have gone in from there. Poacher's instincts from João Pedro, making a real impact on this game, and he hasn't really got out of second gear. But that's what the good players do.
Well, it was a free header, to be fair. Wesley Fofana, he'll be looking back at that thinking, I should have made it count from the first opportunity. But in the end, João Pedro, the superstar, didn't play at the World Cup, as you said, Eric. Carlo Ancelotti deciding on a different squad. Maybe the inclusion of Neymar in the end resulted in him missing out. So he's another player who's going to come into this season fresh after not playing in the World Cup.
All the Italians will be in the same boat, looking for a point to prove, not playing in the Summers World Cup. Cole Palmer's another player for Chelsea, so that's only going to be a positive. If you're a Chelsea FC fan, you're going to have a lot of hungry players out there looking to prove a point.
So Western Sydney, as though they are going to make another couple of changes. It's Marcus Savage and Alat Abdul Rahman. Nathan Barry gives a breather, came into the game in the first half after that injury for Herman Ferreira. Atia Waraga gets replaced, so Abdul Rahman slots in there for Vitale's men. Couple of minutes remaining.